In the last session, we have seen how to enable the offerings and options, how to create implementation project. So during the implementation project, we selected offerings and options. After creating implementation project also, we can add offerings, options, task list or specific task. When you create implementation project by selecting offerings and options, system creates task list and you can update the status and you can do the assignments. You can assign offering to project team member or specific option you can assign to the team member, or specific task list or task can be assigned to team members. Based on that, when team members will start working on the project, they can update the status. The same can be tracked as a progress of the project. Project level, you can see which resources are working, how much percentage completed, in progress, not started, all the details you can see. So that's what we discussed and seen in the system in the last session. In today's session, let's talk about the concept called as transaction creation. If you want to create the transaction in any application, what details we require, what we have to create in the system to create the transaction. So if you want to create any transaction, we require date. We require date. On which date we are recording this transaction. That could be sales activity or purchase activity or any other activity. And we have to capture the description of the transaction. So description means details of the transaction, exactly which activity we are doing. We have to enter the amount. So when you enter the amount in any transaction, the amount belongs to which currency we have to specify. Okay, which currency. So these details we have to capture, or simply you can say amount only. So when you create the transaction, we have to capture the date when we are performing the transaction and what exact activity we are doing. Are we selling? If you are selling, what you are selling, which company is selling, which department is involving, all the details you have to capture as a description. And the transaction amount is how much you have to enter. These details are required in every transaction. If you want to capture the date within our Fusion applications, what we have to create? If you want to capture the date, you have to create accounting calendar. Or simply you can call as a calendar also. We have to create an accounting calendar. How to create accounting calendar? If you want to create accounting calendar, we should know for which country you are doing the implementation. What is the finance layer for that country? So based on that information, you can create the accounting calendar in the system. Say for example, we are doing implementation for Indian client. What is the finance layer in India? India, the finance layer is April to March. Okay, April to March. Now we have to create accounting calendar in the system by following the same range. April starting period, ending is March. If you are implementing for US client, we have to create accounting calendar Jan to December. US finance layer is starts with Jan, ends with December. So for which country, company or client we are doing implementation, as per the country finance year, we have to create accounting calendar. The one point is the country finance year. Okay, country financial year we have to consider. The second point is when you create accounting calendar, you want to create accounting calendar with what period type? Period type means monthly we can call as period type, week we can call as period type, day we can call as period type, quarterly we can call as period type, half-yearly and year also you can call as a period type. So when you create accounting calendar, by default we create with monthly. So period type. So period type we use monthly. So that means in the accounting calendar, we create the periods as a months. Okay. The periods we are going to create as a monthly period time. So when you take this case, monthly, how many periods we can have in our accounting calendar? 12 periods. It could be India financial year or US financial year. If you are creating accounting calendar, if period type is monthly, you can have a 12 periods. But as per system, you can create more than 12 periods. Those additional periods we call as adjustment periods. Okay. If you create more than 12 periods, those are additional periods. In a year, if you take period type as a monthly, only 12 periods. It can be any country financial year. If period type is monthly, 12. So if you want to create additional periods in accounting calendar, those we call as adjustment periods. Okay, adjustment periods. So why we have to create additional periods? The additional periods we have to create to record adjustment transactions. Say you are closing the books in the end of the year and you want to track all adjustment entries, provisions. So for that reason, you may use adjustment periods, but adjustment period is not mandatory. But it is always good if you can have at least one adjustment period at the end of the year. So these are the points we have to understand to create accounting calendar. When we are doing the implementation for any country client, we have to understand what is the financial year they are following and period type by default monthly. If they need additional periods, we have to create those additional periods as adjustment periods. As a consultant, we have to suggest to the company or say client to have at least one adjustment period at the end of the year. If require more than one, yes, we can add more than one. We'll see in the system how this can be created. So we'll understand. So before we proceed to create accounting calendar in the system, any questions here, please?
Yeah, sir. If we have multiple, if we are operating in multiple countries, if we are following Indian calendar, how they will consolidate these financials if they are following January to December in US?
One second. We don't use one calendar for multiple countries. Okay, if you are doing business in multiple countries, in each country, what is the financial year? Accordingly, we have to create the separate calendar. So for India business, you use India accounting calendar. For US business, you use a US accounting calendar. Say, for example, for India and US, financial year is same, for example. Okay. If you take the case, for India and US, financial year is same. Now you can use same accounting calendar for two countries. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, this is what we have to understand. Any other questions?
Sir, if suppose a company is operating in 5 countries.
Yes.
And in 5 countries, all the financial years are different. In one from January to December and other one from April to March. For the 5 countries,
different.
For the 5 countries, we need to create 5 different calendars, sir.
Exactly.
Okay, sir. And if there are 3-4 countries with same accounting period, then one calendar can be implemented to all these 3-4 countries.
Yes, one accounting calendar you can use for multiple countries if multiple countries are following the same financial year. Yes.
So you have, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions here, please? And one more point, you no need to create accounting calendar every year. Only you create accounting calendar at the time of implementation. You can create periods within this accounting calendar for multiple years. Okay, only one accounting calendar at the time of implementation. So every year related periods you can add within the same accounting calendar. We are not going to create accounting calendar every year, only one. So for all the years periods you can add within the same accounting calendar.
So can you adjust the accounting period? Can you add like the adjustment period after the implementation?
Not possible. Only at the time of implementation, we have to take the decision. We, in the sense, as a company, okay, client,
Okay.
as well as a consultant, we have to sit and discuss and we have to finalize. Do they need any additional periods or they don't want? That we have to decide. Once you create accounting calendar, there is no option to increase the periods as adjustment or anything else. Yeah. So one-time decision. Any other questions? Fine. Let's see how to create accounting calendar in the system. So go to our implementation project, whatever we created. Click on username. Click on setup and maintenance task. So this setup and maintenance task will take us to FSM. Now we are in the FSM page. Click on task list. Click on manage implementation projects. If you want to see the project, whatever you created, you click on overview. If the project is assigned to this user, you can see that project. Click on overview. So you didn't assign the project to this current user. If you don't assign, you can search and find from this page itself. Okay, this is how you can search and find. But anyway, this project is assigned to user called Google. Now we are in this page with the same Google user access. You can click on overview. You can find the project. Now open this project. To open, you have to click on the project name. What we want to do, we want to create accounting calendar. Okay, you can remove these additional offerings and options just for testing purpose. We added in the last session. So procurement we don't require. If required, we will add it later. I'm removing the procurement. Yes. Select and click on delete. Finance or say financials offering is enough for us. So this payables option you can delete. The payables we have inside of the financials. Select and click on delete. How to add offerings, options, task list we added in the last session. Now we are deleting. This is not required. Financials offering is enough. Within the financials, we have a different options as a task folder options. Done. Now we want to create accounting calendar. To create accounting calendar, you can search for accounting calendar from this field. Whatever you want to create, simply you have to search for the same from this field. So search for accounting calendar. You no need to give the full task name. Just you can give short name also, partial name. You can see the task name is manage accounting calendars. By using manage accounting calendar task, we can create the accounting calendar. If you want to follow the path, this is the path. First, you have to go to financials. From financials, you have to go to task list called as define common application configuration for financials. From there, you have to go to define enterprise structures for financials. From there, define financial reporting structures. From there, you have to go to define calendars. There you can find the task called as accounting calendars. But you no need to follow this path. If you want to follow this path, so how we have to follow, we'll see. I'm opening the same instance under a different tab. Okay. So go to setup and maintenance, task list, manage implementation projects, click on overview, open this project. So say you want to create accounting calendar. You don't want to search and find, you want to follow the path. What is the path? You have to go to financials first. Just expand financials. Next. we have to go to define common applications configuration for financials. Okay, define common application configuration for financials. Define common application configuration for financials. Just expand it. What is the next step? You have to select task list called as define enterprise structure for financials. Here you can see define enterprise structure for financials. Here is a task list. Wherever you see the folder icon, that is a task list. It contains multiple tasks, or else it may contain another task list also, sub-task list. So you have to expand define enterprise structures for financials. What is the next? You have to go to define financials reporting structures. Okay, define financial reporting structures. You can see define financial reporting structures. Expand it. What next? Go to define calendars task list. Define calendars. Expand it. Here we have a task called as manage accounting calendars. So you no need to follow this path. Simply you can search for accounting calendar and click on manage accounting calendars. By clicking on go to task icon, you can create accounting calendar. Okay. So just to understand what path is available, we discussed. You no need to follow this path. We never follow this process of expanding and finding, selecting, expanding, finally reaching the task, not required. So whatever the setup you want to do, directly you can search from this field and you can perform the setup. Okay. The task name is manage accounting calendars. Okay. Click on go to task icon. If you click on this go to task icon, this task will take us to accounting calendar creation page. Just click on go to task icon. So in this page, you can create accounting calendar. This is a practice instance. That is the reason you can see many accounting calendars are available in this. In case of fresh instance, when you are working for your client, you will see this page like this. Blank, no accounting calendars. Whatever the accounting calendar you will create, that would be the first one. Yeah. So how to create accounting calendar from this page? Click on create. Okay, click on create icon, say plus icon, and you have to provide your accounting calendar name. The name field allows very limited characters. It doesn't allow long text. So provide name as a short name. So when you create accounting calendar, you have to include your company name. You have to create the name. You can include, or else when we are doing the implementation, simply you can give the name as accounting calendar for US, accounting calendar for India. You can create like that, or else simply you can include the company name also. You can say Google accounting calendar. Let me write in the uppercase, Google accounting calendar. It doesn't allow more than these characters. See, after calendar CAL, only one letter is accepted. Doesn't allow. Okay. So they give a limit for this field to enter the name. So I'm giving name as Google ACC, means accounting calendar, CAL. If you want to write the detailed name, you can use the description field. Here you can write Google accounting. Okay. Calendar for USA. Okay. Google accounting calendar for USA. For USA. This is how you can describe about the accounting calendar. Google accounting calendar for USA. You can write, or else description field is optional. You can notice there is no star mark. Only name field is mandatory. Description is optional. If you want to provide description, you can provide, otherwise ignore it. Now we are creating accounting calendar for USA. What is the financial year for US? Jan to December. What is the current financial year? Okay, Jan 2022 to December 2022. So now accounting calendar, you have to start with the financial year start date. If you take example of current financial year, the current financial year start date is Jan 1st, 2022. Here you have to select start date as a Jan 1st, 2022. If you are creating accounting calendar for India, the India current financial year is 2022 April to 23 March. So you have to select April 1st, 2022 in case of India accounting calendar. Now we are creating for US, select start date as a Jan 1st, 2022. Select month as a Jan and select first year is already, it is there as a 2022, select. So based on this, it can create the periods. Okay, it will identify how many periods it has to create. Means from this date, it will create 12 periods. Reason, the period frequency is monthly. Okay, we are going to create monthly. If you want to create different periods, you can create. You can create quarterly, means 4 periods you can create, and you can create weekly. That flexibility we have, but reality we create periods as a monthly periods. Now, if you are going to create monthly periods within this accounting calendar, so what format you want to use for period names? Okay, this is how system will create the periods. Jan 22, Feb 22, March 22. It will create period name format by following this. If you want to change the format, you can change. There are different formats. Whatever the format you select, accordingly, the period name system will display. If you select this, it will display 2022, okay, and month in 3 digits, year in 4 digits. So that's how it will display the name. So select, this is how it will display the period name.
Now here you have taken January 2022, no sir, from this financial year only. Suppose we want 2-3 years legacy data, then we have to give start date back on the 3 years back.
Yes. Okay, within your accounting calendar, you need periods for which years. Accordingly, you can have to select. Say you want to create periods in accounting calendar from 2020. So you can give start date as a Jan 1st, 20. That's all. So we can create the periods for 20, 21, 22 and future years also.
The client, how many years of legacy data he wants, that date should be mentioned. No, sir?
Yes. If you want to maintain previous year's data, create accounting calendar starting from the past years.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are following this format, and here you can see separator. So between this month and year, separator is hyphen, or else you can use slash, or you can say none. Without any separation, it will combine period name and year. So just you can accept what system is taking. Now within this accounting calendar, system will create 12 periods since period frequency is monthly. If you want to add any additional periods, you have to specify here. Adjustment period frequency. Okay, the adjusting period frequency, how to specify. So here you can see the option. You can say once at beginning of the year, once at end of the year. Or you can say once mid-year, one adjustment period is mid of the year, one adjusting period is end of the year. Okay, once mid-year, twice at year end. One in the mid of the year, 2 adjustment periods in the end of the year. Or once at end of the year, twice at end of the year. Or else for each quarter we need an adjustment period. Or you can say none, means no adjustment period is required. If you say other, it will allow you to select how many adjustment periods required. Those all it will add in the end of the year. We say 5. Along with this 12, system will add 5 more periods. Okay, 5 more periods after 12 periods. So here you can select one set period. Ideally, we just suggest to have at least one. If you want to have more than one, yes, you can just select accordingly. So generally, we create one adjustment period at the end of the year. Again, that is not mandatory. Remember, the client says we don't need. If you want to record any adjustment entries in the last period of the year, if you take this current financial year for US, December, they close the books. The client may say, we want to enter adjustment entries also in the December. No issues. That is fine. If they want to track adjustment entries or say provisions in the end of the year, okay, with a separate period, then only we need adjustment period, otherwise not required. So always you suggest to have at least one adjustment period that you can suggest at end of the year, say once at year end. So budgetary control only. This is a budget related concept when we deal with the budgets. So how this calendar we can use only for budgets we'll discuss. Now it is not required. Okay. So this is how we have to create the accounting calendar. Provide the name. Optionally, you can provide the description and you can give the start date and period frequency is monthly. And here you may specify the format. You use the same format what system is defaulting. This is very standard format we use. And adjustment period frequency, how many adjustment periods you require, you can specify. Then you can click on next. If you click on next, system will create accounting calendar based on these inputs. That means it will create all the periods. For each period, it will create the date range. It will create Jan 22. Jan 22 starts with 1st Jan and ends with 31st Jan. This is how the period range also it will create with a date range. So click on next. System will create accounting calendar automatically. You no need to enter all these details. See, system created. So how it created? So monthly means 12 periods and we selected once at year end, total 13 periods. So 13th period is adjustment period. It is marking as adjustment. Here, adjusting period it is selecting as a yes, it is selected. And remaining all the periods are real periods. Jan to December. It is taking date range also. So this is how you have to create accounting calendar. After creating accounting calendar, you can save it.
Sir, we can give the adjustment period option for the regular periods Jan to December, or it is only for adjustment period?
Adjustment purpose only. We never
Okay.
use adjustment periods to record the real business transactions. Okay, real business transactions always we record in the real periods only. Adjustment, it is just as additional period to record or to track any adjustment entries. Okay, if you want add it or else not mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So now we created and we saved. After saving the accounting calendar, you can see one tab called as add year. If you click on add year, system will add periods for next year. As of now, we have periods only for 2022. Okay, here we have periods for 2022. So if you want to add the periods for next year, click on add year. It will add the periods for next year. It added. Okay. And say save. Just click on save. So this is how you can create accounting calendar and you can add periods for multiple years in the same accounting calendar. You no need to create accounting calendar separately for every year. For one country, one accounting calendar is enough. Reason, we are creating accounting calendar as per the country financial year. That's all. Now you can see the periods for 2 years. Select all, it will display periods for 23 and 22. Scroll little down. You can see periods available for 22. 21. So this is how you can create accounting calendar. Any questions on this, please?
Sir, can we add adjusting?
Accounting calendar for India also. We'll test that. Just to understand how to create accounting calendar. Any questions here, please?
Sir, it is showing here first period Jan 24.
John?
24. In the right side above the yeah.
First period Jan 24. If you click
haven't.
add year, okay, next to which is going to be the first period. Already we created for 2023. If I click on add year, what would be the next first period?
Okay, next first period it is showing. Okay.
Okay. So already created for 2023. You click on add year, it will create the periods for 24 only, 2024, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it has to start the periods from which period. That's what it is showing here. System will use this first period to generate the next year periods. So let's see how to create accounting calendar for India. If you are doing the implementation for Indian client, how to create it. Click on save and close. Click on create.
Sir, one question there.
Let me complete this. I'll take your question. ABC India calendar. So in case of India, the financial year starts from April 1st. So select April 1st. Okay, April 1st, 2022. And this is how it will create the periods. Now we want to use only one adjustment period at the end of the year. Now click on next. So when our current financial year will end in case of India? Okay, we are in the current financial year which started in April 1st.
March.
Financial year will end.
March 2023. March 23.
23. See, that's what system is taking here. Here it is taking 23. Here we given, okay, April 1st, 22 only. Always system will take reporting year. When this financial year is going to end, when this calendar is going to end, that it will take. It is taking 2023. And period name is April 22. Okay, the period name is April 22. Year is 23. Why it is taking year 23? Because it is going to end in the 23 only. Okay, so April 22. So here from Jan it is taking 23. So April 2022 to April March 23. And we selected one adjustment period, same it is created. Okay. So this is how you can create accounting calendar for India. You can click on save. You can add the periods for future years. Any questions, please? Any questions from anyone to understand this accounting calendar?
Sir, in the previous tab, we see some
that is related to one concept. When we deal with that concept, we'll talk about it. There is one concept called as a translation within the general ledger application.
okay.
Translation related note Oracle is giving. Okay, now we no need to understand about the different concepts. Now we have to understand about accounting calendar creation. When we deal with that, just I'll give you the note what Oracle is saying.
That's fine, sir.
Yeah. So what Oracle is saying is, if you are going to use the translation, there is one concept called as translation. So translation you cannot run in the first period. Okay, translation you cannot run in the first period. If you are going to implement the translation concept, if you require translation concept, so very first period you can take as adjustment period also. When we deal with that concept, I'll just I'll explain it so that you can understand. Now it will create unnecessary confusion. Okay, try to understand how to create accounting calendar.
Sir, can we change by creating additional year adjusting period frequency?
Can you come again?
We are creating additional year, right? 2023, for example, if we create 2024.
Additional years we are not creating. Okay, additional years we are not creating. So what we are just creating the, I mean, like accounting calendar start date you given. By default, it creates the periods for 1 year by default. So for how many years you require, you are creating all those years. Okay, we are not deciding as this is only for this year. We are just giving the start date. By default, it creates for 1. If you want to create more than, you are creating.
Can we able to change adjusting period for the next year calendar year?
No, there is no option, right? System is freezing. See?
Yes.
You cannot change. That's whatever you are just finalizing at the time of accounting calendar creation, that system will take as a final decision only. It won't allow you to change. If at all you want to change the format, display format, you can change for these periods. So you want to see with a different format, you can change. You want to see with this format. Okay. You can change accordingly. You can see, you can save it. It will change to this format. Appearance, the period appearance. So apart from that, see, you can see all the fields are freezed. You want to change the display name for accounting calendar, you can change. But you cannot change the period frequency, or you cannot change the start date. You cannot change the frequency for adjusting periods.
Okay, thanks.
Sir, a small doubt. What is the adjustment period means? What kind of adjustments we need to come into this period, sir? I mean, the credits are.
Now we are in the very beginning. Okay, if you want to understand, we have to talk about some business transactions.
Okay.
Yeah. Say, I'll explain. If you understand, or else, but anyway, when we are creating, you will be able to understand this point. Adjustment entries means some provisions. Say, for example, you purchased, okay, some material from your supplier. Okay, you purchase material from the supplier for $10,000. And that information you are not recording in the payables. If you are recording in the payables, you purchase from so-and-so supplier for $10,000. What is the meaning of it? You are liable to that supplier. You have to pay to that supplier, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But you not yet recorded in the payables. If you don't record in the payables, it won't display in your reports.
Okay.
That is the reason you may record in the next month or after a few days. So before you record in the payables, in the adjustment period, you can enter, we are supposed to pay $10,000 to so-and-so supplier. That is not recorded in the payables. So that information you will record in the GL in this adjustment period. Okay. Which need to be recorded in the respective applications, which are not recorded, those you enter as a adjustment entries in the GL application by using the adjustment period. So once you record in the payables, this you can reverse it. You are closing the books, end of the year you are closing, which are pending. Okay, so those you can enter in this adjustment period. If you don't understand, don't try to understand. So we'll see that once we start recording the transaction, the system will understand. That is the reason I didn't explain. Okay.
Okay.
Take the point as when we are closing the books, if any adjustment entries need to be passed, we use adjustment period. For now, you take this definition for this adjustment period. So whenever we record the transactions, you will be able to understand everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions, please? And one more point. Here you can notice by default system is taking adjustment period name as the number, whatever the number it is allocating for the period, that is 13th period, and it is copying the last period, March only. If you look at the date range, it is taking only 1 day. Okay, it's taking only 1 day. If you want to increase, you can increase, no issues. So adjustment period, date range you want to take as 26th to 31st. You can change, you can, however you require, you can update. So this is what we have to understand. If you want to see whatever the accounting calendars you created, you can search from Google. There is no search button in this page. Directly use enter key from the keyboard. So this is the accounting calendar we created. Click on that. So we'll talk about description after some time. Let's talk about amount. If you are going to enter the amounts in any transaction, you have to specify the amount with the currency. Say for example, you created one transaction, you entered 1,000. In another transaction, you entered 25,000. And then in different transaction, you entered 100. Now, what about these amounts? These amounts are talking about rupees or dollars or dinars. You have to specify the amounts are belongs to which currency. In every transaction, whatever the amount you are entering, the amount is belongs to which currency we have to specify. That means when you create the transaction, you have to specify the transaction amounts in the different currencies. The amount is belongs to which currency, you have to specify the currency. Say for example, you are doing the business in US. Okay, your client is running the business in US. What is the local currency for US?
Dollar.
Dollar, USD. So USD is the local currency. That local currency we call as functional currency. Okay. So for every country, we have a local currencies. The country local currencies we call as a functional currency. A functional currency means country local currency. If you are doing the business in India, the local currency is INR. If you are doing the business in US, local currency is USD. So you are doing the business in India, all other country currencies we treat as foreign currencies. When we do the business in India, local currency is INR, the rupees, all other country currencies we treat as a foreign currencies. You are doing the business in India and US. If you are doing the business in India and US, for India business, INR is the functional. For US business, USD is the functional. For India business, USD is the foreign. For US business, INR is the foreign. Always other country currency is foreign currency for us. So when you talk about currency, when you record the transactions what we are creating, are we creating with a functional currency? That means local currency. Are we creating the transaction, the foreign currency? We have to select the currency. Okay, when you do the business in India, if you are recording the transaction with INR, that means we are recording the transaction in INR currency. If you are recording the transaction with USD currency, when you do the business in India, that is foreign currency. If you are dealing with the transactions with the foreign currency, you have to create exchange rates between our functional currency and other country foreign currency. So you are doing business in India and you are recording the transaction in dollars. That means $1 is equal to how many rupees, or 1 rupee is equal to how many dollars. The conversion rates we have to create, the exchange rates we have to create in the system. Then only you can create the transactions in the foreign currency. Otherwise, you can create the transactions only in the functional currency. Okay, here when you talk about currencies, we have two types. Okay, say currency types. Two types. One is functional currency. The other type is foreign currency. Reality, the currencies you can classify as a functional and foreign. And you take the same example. I'm taking 150 is INR, rupees. This 1000 is USD. And 25,000 is what? It could be currency, it could be any currency, or else it could be some kilometers. Okay, kilometers, or meters, or kilograms. Okay, this 100 may be some marks. So these all are measurements. INR is measurement for rupees, currency. USD is dollars measurement. Kilometers is also one of the measurement in marks or square feet or meters, kilograms. Okay, these all are measurements only. But INR and USD are related to money related measurements. That means you can say monetary measurements, money related measurements. These kilometers or marks, kilograms, these all are not related to money measurements. That means these all are non-monetary measurements. If at all you are going to enter this kind of information in the system, so this information we call as statistical information. Is all we call as statistical measurements. Okay, other than money measurements, what are the measurements you have? All we call as statistical measurements. If you are entering this kind of statistical information in the system, Oracle is giving the name for that as a stat currency. It is not at all currency, but we treat as a stat currency. Stat means statistical. And from the term called as statistical, we are taking the prefix of 4 letters from the name. So that we call a stat currency. So if you are going to enter kilograms, meters, square feet, etc. in the system environment, that you can specify with the currency called as stat currency. It is not at all a currency, but just to address statistical information, we use the currency type called as stat currency. Okay, so reality we create a real business transaction with functional and foreign only. If at all you are going to do some calculations which are not related to business transactions, there if you are entering this kind of information, you have to name it as a stat currency. Now finally we have to understand we have 3 types of currencies: functional currency, foreign currency, stat currency. Functional means country local currency where you are doing the business. Foreign means so where you are not operating your business, still with which countries you are recording the transactions. Other than local currency, all currencies are foreign currencies. If you are doing the business in 10 countries, for each country that currency is functional only. For one country, other country currency is foreign. Stat currency means if you are going to enter statistical information in our system, that we have to treat as a stat currency. Just remember this point. 3 types of currencies we have. When you talk about accounting calendar, we created accounting calendar. In fresh instance, Oracle is not going to provide any accounting calendars. The first instance, you can, if you go to manage accounting calendars task, you don't see any calendars in fresh instance. We have to create. Because you are doing the implementation for which country, okay, what period format you required, how many adjustment periods you required, that as a company, we have to take the decision. That is the reason Oracle is not creating any accounting calendars. We have to create as a part of implementation. As an implementation consultant, as a Oracle Fusion Financials consultant, we have to create accounting calendar. Company is not going to create, we have to create. So when you talk about these currencies, do we need to create currencies in the system? No. Accounting calendar we have to create. But currencies you don't need to create. All the currencies Oracle is providing. Why all the currencies Oracle is providing? The currency is always fixed. If it is India, INR only. Because your company is ABC, you are not going to use different currency. So currency is fixed value for every country. That is the reason all the currencies Oracle is providing So wherever you are doing the business, accordingly, you can use your functional currency. If you are dealing with other countries, suppliers and customers, you can record the transactions with the foreign currencies also. Okay. So this is the point we have to understand. You no need to create the currencies. All currencies Oracle is providing. Whatever the currency you want to use, make sure that the currency is enabled. Okay, whatever the currency we require, what we have to do? We have to enable it. Okay, enable currency. Which currency you want to use when you record the business transactions? Enable that currency so that that would be available at the time of transaction creation. Okay, so being a Oracle Fusion Financials consultant, we no need to create currencies. All Oracle is providing. But for which country we are doing implementation, they want to record the transactions in which currencies, all the currencies we have to enable. We'll go and see how we can find the currencies what Oracle is providing. Okay, so we'll see what currencies Oracle is providing, how the currency information we can find in instance. So go to our implementation project, search for the task called as currencies. So use the task called as manage currencies. If you want to perform any setup, okay, the task name starts with manage. 99% task starts with manage. Here you have a defined currencies. If you click on define currencies, that is a task list. It will list out within that manage currencies would be one of the tasks. So just now click on manage currencies task. Okay, here is the task called as manage currencies. Click on go to task icon. Just click on go to task icon. It will take us to manage currencies page. Here no need to create currencies. You can find all currencies here. Say you want to check USD currency is available or not. So currency code is USD. Currency name is US dollar. Now currency is available. Currency code is USD. Currency name is US dollar. Description is US dollar. And you can notice this currency is enabled. If this currency is disabled, this you cannot use in the system. Okay, you cannot use in the system, or else you may give start date and end date. You can say we want to use this currency from this date to only till month end. You can set so that this currency will be available only for this month. Okay, after this month, this currency won't be available for our setups or transaction. Okay, we never set any start date and end dates for currencies. If you want to set, you can set. Reality, we don't set. If you don't want to use any currency, you have to come to this page and disable so that it won't be available for the business users to record the transactions. Yep. And check INR. INR, Indian rupee, it's enabled. What Oracle is doing is all the currencies Oracle is providing by enabling. Okay, all the currencies Oracle is providing by enabling. The reality, what we have to do is, here there are more than 200 currencies. You can just directly click on search, remove this currency code and click on search. All the currencies you can see. So 200 plus currencies we have. Okay. Let's scroll a little down, you can see all the currencies. So you can notice all the currencies Oracle is providing by enabling. When you do the implementation, what we have to do is, we have to disable all the currencies, which currencies are not required by our client. Say our client is running the business in US. Their local currencies are USD, that anyway we have to enable. So the client is doing the business with 5 more countries. Client is not running the business. They don't have business in other countries, but they have a suppliers and customers from other 5 countries. Now for those 5 countries currencies also we have to enable. That means total 6 currencies they require. They are doing the business in US, USD is required, and they have a suppliers and customers. If they have a suppliers and customers in other countries, they may have to record the transactions with other currency also. So total 6 currencies we have to enable. By default, Oracle is providing as enabled. Rest of all the currencies we have to disable. So when user is going to create the transactions, if they go to currency field, system will display only 5 currencies. With which currency they want to record the transaction, easily they can select the currency out of 5 currency names. If you don't disable all the currencies which your client is not using, system will display 200 currencies list. From that, you have to select whatever the currency you require to record the transaction. That will become big task for the business users. So that means we have to disable the currencies which currencies are not required by your client, so that when user is recording the transactions, their job will become very easy to select currency name. So this is what we have to understand. Any questions here, please? And one more point. If you want to create currency, you can create, but not required. Okay, for practice purpose also don't create. For our information purpose, I'll show you how to create the currency. Here is the create icon. Okay, there is a create icon. Just scroll. Okay, so these are the currencies we have. So if you want to create currency, okay, you can click on create. Fine, you can just click on create. So it will add the field to create the currency. You will add the new record space and you can create the currency. Yeah. Now you can enter the currency just for our testing purpose. XYZ is the currency code. XYZ, XYZ. By default, system is enabled. So this is how you can provide the currency. You expand that record. This currency belongs to which country you have to select. If any symbol is available, you can specify the symbol. Okay. So this is how you can create the currency. For any currency, you can just expand and you can see the detailed information. But don't create any currency not at all required. When you are practicing also, don't create the currency like your name and USD, your name is ENR. Don't create like that. That is not at all required. We should not do that. So whatever the currencies Oracle is providing, we have to use those currencies only. Okay, I'm deleting the currency, whatever I created.
So as you told that Oracle has provided every currency, then why there is an option given for creating of currency?
By any chance, if any country, if currency code is missing, you can create. For that, first they give.
Okay.
Yeah. Done. Say for example, somewhere some new country is formed. Okay, it happened just today. Now that for that country, there should be some new currency, right?
Okay, if there is a birth of any new currency, in that case, you need to create.
Yes, that is the reason they give an option.
Okay.
Fine. Or else that may be existing currency, it is missing in this instance with some reason. Okay, by mistake, some currency code is missing in the instance, you have to create it.
Okay.
Another point is, whatever the currencies Oracle is providing, they don't allow us to delete. Whatever the currency you create, that Oracle will allow you to delete. Okay, that's how it works. Any questions from anyone, please? Okay. So how to create the exchange rates? Say you are doing business in US and you want to record the transaction INR. Between USD and INR, we have to create the exchange rates, okay, conversion rates. That we'll see when we are recording the transaction. Now we don't need that information. Just we have to understand where you can find the currencies. If you want to use any currency, we have to enable it. That's all. Okay. Say save and close. Fine. Now, so that's all about date and amount. If you want to capture the date in our instance, we have to create accounting calendar. What are the amounts you are entering in the transaction? You have to address with the currency code. That could be functional or foreign currency. What about description? When you create the transaction, so you have to capture the description. Whatever the description you capture in every transaction, that is as per your reporting requirements. When you are generating the reports, you want to capture, you want to display which details as per your reports. Accordingly, you have to capture the description. Say, for example, when you create the transaction, you want to capture the details like the transaction belongs to which company. Okay, the transaction belongs to which company, and the transaction belongs to which department, and the transactions belongs to which account. That means exactly which activity you are doing that you can represent with account. So this is what you want to capture as a part of description. Okay, when you create the transaction and which date you are doing the transaction, you can capture with the date, amount you can enter, and you can specify the currency. As a part of description, which details you want to capture. You want to capture as an organization, the transactions belongs to which company. You may have multiple companies. If you have only one company, you can say which branch. The transactions belongs to which branch. And again, which department is involving in the transaction and which activity you are doing. Are you paying the salaries? Are you buying some material? Are you spending some expense? Are you selling something to customer? So what activity you are doing that you have to represent in the system as an account. Now, which details you want to capture as a part of transaction, that we have to decide first. Okay. Sorry. Say, for example, you want to capture a company, department, and account details as a part of every transaction description. Then you have to list out the same information in the system. Okay. So how many companies you have? You have to create all those. Say, so we are taking an example as a Google. We'll proceed with the same. Say Google, you can take the company entity as Google search engine is one of the entity. Okay. Google search engine is one of the entity, or else you can take Google Ads is one business they are doing. And other business is, say, Google Cloud. Okay. So Google Cloud and okay. So Google Ads, Google Cloud, and
Maps.
yes, you can take Google Maps. So means it's all about business, where they are spending some amount, where they are generating the business. So this all you can take. Maybe these are the different entities. These are the different businesses, what they are doing. So if they want to record the transaction, whatever they are spending, whatever the revenue they are generating, whatever the activities they are doing, those are related to what entity or what service. If they want to capture those, all they have to create as a separate companies. Let's take they are doing these three businesses. There are many businesses. There is a big list of businesses they are doing. Let's take these three for our discussion purpose. Google Ads. Okay, they get the revenue from Google Ads. They are doing that business. Google Cloud and Google Maps. Now, what are the different departments they have in their organization? Those all you have to list out. You can say finance department they have, HR department they have, sales department, marketing department, R&D department. There are many departments. These are enough for our discussion. And what activities they are doing, what are the different business transactions they are doing, accordingly you can list out the accounts. Say they need salaries account to pay the salaries to employees. Okay. So they may spend some expense, say admin expense. They may maintain different bank accounts. For each bank account, they have to maintain the separate account. Say HSBC cash means that is a bank account. HSBC cash means that is a bank account name for say City Cash and say they are going to generate the revenue from Google Ads or AdSense, you can call. So revenue from ads. Okay. Revenue from maps. Okay. They provide the service like paid services. So this is how you can have accounts like in thousands and lakhs also, depending on the company. Reality, every company, they perform different activities. They spend different expenses they spend, the different ways they may get the revenue. So that's how all the accounts we have to list out. We will see, like going forward, you'll come to know what are the different accounts we use for our discussion purpose. We don't need to take too many accounts. These are enough. So this is how you have to list out what information you have to capture as a part of description. That relevant information, first of all, you have to list out in your instance. Okay. To capture the dates, if you create calendar, within the calendar we have periods. In periods we have a dates. When you select the date is belongs to so and so period, the period is belongs to so and so year. That's how system can capture the information automatically. If you are going to capture the description, what details you want to capture as a description? You want to capture the transaction belongs to which company, which department, exactly which activity we are doing. Those all you have to maintain in the system like this. Okay. So now this complete information is belongs to which organization? That title you can give. Okay, these all companies, these all departments, these all accounts are belongs to Google. Say the entity is Google Corporation. Okay. Under Google Corporation, these are the different businesses you are doing, and these are departments we have. These are the accounts we have. Fine. Now, this is how we have to create in the system environment. Okay, this is how we have to create in the system environment. If you want to create your companies, departments, accounts, and the title for all these and the detailed information, how many companies, how many departments, how many accounts, we have one feature called as accounting key flex field in general ledger application. What we have? Accounting key flex field. By using accounting key flex field, you can create information in the system as this. Here you can notice one thing. It follows some hierarchy. Okay. Follow some hierarchy. Hierarchy is under Google Corporation. Okay. Right. Under Google Corporation, we have different companies and we have different departments and different accounts. You can see this as a hierarchy. This is spreadsheet. So we are able to just write the data however you require, and you can represent how you want to display this data. In the same way, like by following the same hierarchy, like there will be Google Corporation. Under that title, you will have company, department, and account. Under this company, you will have a list of companies. Okay. Under department, you will have a list of departments. This is some kind of hierarchy. So to create this kind of hierarchy in the system environment, we have one feature called as accounting key flex field. By using accounting key flex field, this is how you can maintain the data. So where we have this accounting key flex field? The general ledger application. Okay, general ledger application, we have accounting key flex field. By using this accounting key flex field, you can create the data like this. So here we have a titles. Okay, here we have a titles. The data is belongs to what, that you can understand by looking at the title. So what data is this? You can see the title. These all are accounts, account related data. These all are departments. These all are companies. So that's how we given title. If you are going to create this information, okay, in our system by using accounting key flex field, the titles what we have as per accounting key flex field, these titles we call as segments. Okay, these titles we call as segments. This we call as company segment. This we call as a department segment. This is account segment. With these titles only, we are separating the total data into, this is a company data, this is the department data, this is the accounts data. That's how we are segregating. Since we are segregating with the titles, those we call as segments. Okay, as per accounting key flex field, these titles we call as a segments. Okay, this we call as segments. So if it is a company, these we call as a company values. As per system, whatever you enter, we call as value. So these names, company names, department names, account names, these all as per system we call as values. Okay. So if it is a values related to company, you can call as company values. Company you are calling as a segment. Okay, company segment, department segment, account segment. Under company segment, whatever the data you are going to list out, that you can call as company segment values. Okay, company segment values, company segment related values. So this is the department segment. Under department segment, what are the departments we have as per system we call as values. Now this information you can call as department segment values. These are account segment values. This all belongs to, okay, this data is belongs to Google Corporation. Okay, Google Corporation. So these are segments. This is what we call as segment data. That means within the accounting key flex field, we have to create the segments. Segments nothing but titles for the relevant data. So for each segment, we have to create segment data. Okay, the list of companies in this accounting key flex field, we have to create segment values. So that means for each segment, we have to create segment values. We have to create the segment values. So this total information is belongs to what? Google Corporation. Now this Google Corporation also we have to create in the accounting key flex field that we call as chart of account structure or chart of account structure name. Or you can call as chart of account structure name. For complete this data is belongs to which organization, that title we are giving. The same in the accounting key flex field, you can create as a chart of account structure, or you can say chart of account structure name, anything you can take. This we are creating in the accounting key flex field as a chart of account structure name. These titles we are creating as a segments, and that's segment related data we are creating as a segment. So by using chart of account structure concept, you can maintain your segments and segment values so that you will be able to create the transactions in the system. Okay, to create, to capture the date, we need accounting calendar. To specify the amounts, we need currency. To capture the description within our applications or within our instance, what we need? Chart of accounts. Within the chart of accounts, you can have all your segments and segment values. With the help of chart of accounts, you will be able to capture the description for every transaction. Now again, another point. If you are going to create all these companies under company segment, that is possible in this spreadsheet. But within the accounting key flex field, you cannot create like this. You can create the segment and you can create the segment values. But the segment values you cannot create directly under this segment. What we have to do is we have to create the concept called as value set. To maintain all these segment values, we have to create the value set. For company, you have to create company value set. In company value set, you can maintain all these companies. Since it is a spreadsheet, I can enter under company title all the companies. But within the accounting key flex field, when you create the chart of accounts, you can create the segments, but under segments directly you cannot create the segment values. So with the help of value set, you have to create the segment values. All company values you create within the company value set. Now this company value set you have to assign to company segment. Okay. So how many companies we have? All the companies you have to list out within the company value set. Value set acts as a container for the values. Okay, all companies you can list out within this company value set. All companies are required or belongs to company segment. So we have to assign this company value set to company so that under this company, these companies will be available with the help of company value set. The same way, for a department segment, we have to create one department value set. You have to create one department value set. With the help of department value set, you can create and maintain all your departments. So these all departments are belongs to which segment? Department segment. So assign this department value set to department segment. Same is applicable in case of this account segment. So create account value set. You have to maintain all your accounts. You may have in hundreds or thousands or lakhs. All accounts you have to maintain by using account value set. So these all values are belongs to account segment. So assign account value set to account segment. This is what we have to do. That means within the accounting key flex field for this title, we have to create the chart of account structure or chart of account structure name. And we have to create the segments. And for each segment, if you want to create the values, we have to create value sets. With the help of value sets, you can maintain segment values. Okay. So if you want to maintain the information which is required for a description purpose, that you can achieve by using the chart of accounts. If you create chart of accounts, within the chart of accounts, you can create the segments, you can create the value sets. Within the value sets, you can maintain the segment values. When we are going to record the transactions, you can select the transactions belongs to which company, which department, exactly which activity you are doing. Accordingly, you can select account. So by using the chart of accounts, you can capture the description of the transaction in the system environment. Just remember these points. In the next session, we'll go through how to create the chart of accounts. Okay, by next session, try to complete all whatever we complete in our classes. Okay, create user, create project, create your calendar, just go through that currency page and information what we have seen. And remember all these points so that from next session, our job will become very easy. You will be able to connect to the points what we are going to discuss from next session. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, you can stay back. We will discuss. If no questions, we'll connect on Monday. So as per our class schedules, classes from Monday to Friday. No classes on Saturday and Sunday. So try to complete your practice so that from Monday, whatever we are going to discuss, because we are going to add more content. Okay. So we will see how to create the chart of account. Chart of account creation is little big task. So to understand that before whatever we discussed, please go through and read and remember, you should be able to speak out. Okay. So if I ask you the questions like where you can create the chart of accounts, you should be able to say accounting key flex field. Where we have accounting key flex field in general ledger application. How do you create the chart of accounts? By creating segments, value set, segment values, you can create the chart of accounts. When you talk about accounting calendar, by using which task you can create accounting calendar, manage accounting calendars. How do you create accounting calendar? First, you provide the name for accounting calendar. Optionally, you can provide the description, and you have to provide the start date, and other information system will default, and the period frequency you can select whatever required. The rest of information like the format and like a separation between the period name and year name, that system will default, and how many adjustment periods you required, you have to select. And if you click on next, system will create accounting calendar. And what is the task we use to navigate to currencies? Manage currencies task. How do you create implementation project? After enabling offerings and options, we can create implementation project from FSM. To create implementation project, we have to go to task called as manage implementation project. We have to click on create, and system will default the default names. We have to provide the name with what name we want to create our implementation project, and you can provide the start date and finish date. Finish date is optional, and you can assign the implementation project to specific user. By default, system can default the current user. Then we have to select offerings and options into implementation project. That's how we can create implementation project. How do you create user? Users we can create from the security console. From security console, you can go to user section. Then you can click on create. Then you can provide username and password. That's how you can create the user. When you create implementation user, which roles are mandatory? When you create implementation user, application implementation consultant and IT security manager roles are mandatory. Okay, why those roles are mandatory? When you are going to work as implementation consultant, if you want to perform the setups, that means if you want to do the implementation of any application, to perform the setups, we need access to FSM. We can get access to FSM with the help of application implementation consultant role only. Why IT security manager role is required? With the help of IT security manager, you can create new users and you can assign the roles to users. So that is the reason we need IT security manager. If you have access to application implementation consultant and IT security manager, you will have a full privileges to the system to work as a consultant. Okay. Do we have to set the status for implementation related offerings and options? And do you have to update the status, and do you need to do the assignments? Yes, we can do that, but not mandatory. Okay, if you want to assign, so who is working for financials, who is working for payables, who is working for procurement, you can specify that information within as a part of implementation project. That is not mandatory. Whenever you start working on the implementation project, do you need to set the statuses? Yes, we can set, but not mandatory. If you want to set the status, you can set. Otherwise, as a part of implementation, always we keep in touch with other team members. Always there could be review meetings. You can communicate with others what's going on from your side. That's how the communication can be established. It is not mandatory. We have to set what you are doing exactly as a part of implementation project with respect to setups. Can we add offerings options after creating implementation project? Yes, we can add offerings and options after creating implementation project. Can we add single task to implementation project? Yes. So after doing all the setups, if you delete the implementation project, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Your project will be deleted. What are the setups you completed by using that implementation project? Those would be available in the database. If you want to see the setups, again, you can create one more project and you can access. So this is how you have to remember all these points. If you remember all these points, let them ask any questions, you will be able to answer. Whatever we completed, please read and remember. Whatever we are discussing in the classes, please make a note. please make a note what we are discussing in the class. You will get this sheet also. Whatever I'm preparing for our class discussion, this sheet also I'll share with everyone. Along with this sheet, you will get each session recorded videos. Apart from this, from your side, please make a note of each and every point. If you are doing the setups like create accounting calendar, please make a note. Task name is manage accounting calendar. How we are creating accounting calendar? Name, we are providing the name. Description, we are providing. Okay, start date and period frequency, we are selecting monthly. Adjusting period, we are selecting as a one at the end of the year. So what I am doing in the system, please make a note. What I am explaining, please make a note. These notes will be useful when you are practicing, when you are preparing for interviews. If you are taking any note, by taking the note as you will get videos, you will get this spreadsheet, your preparation won't goes very smooth. And when you are practicing an instance also, so you cannot practice properly. If you want to practice, you have to play the video or we have to see this spreadsheet. And again, you don't see complete information in the spreadsheet. So that is reason. So however, we make a note when you attend some classroom trainings and all, follow the same practice. Each and every discussion and each and every point, please make a note that will help you in all the ways for your practice purpose and to interview preparation purpose. So these points are very, very important. Please try to implement this. So we're done for today. Any questions, please?
Hello, sir. I'm Kapila, sir. I have sent an email to you day before yesterday and today also, sir. Please, whenever you find time, please look into it, sir. Thank you.
What is that? What is the email you sent?
Sir, I was previously enrolled in some other institute, but I was not able to catch up them. Matlab unka padhane I was not.
Come to direct point. Okay.
So regarding some fee concession, I have paid the complete fee there, but I was unable to follow their mode of teaching.
You can talk to the team. I don't involve in those these fees related discussions. You talk to the team and accordingly you can proceed.
Then Satish sir told me to inform you. So Satish sir informed me to drop an email and inform you in the class.
Okay. I'll inform to Satish then.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions, please?
I have a quick question. Is the accounting key flex field equivalent to PeopleSoft tree structure?
I'm not sure about PeopleSoft. I think in PeopleSoft we have a term called as some keys or something we call.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here we are discussing about the description.
Can you be a bit loud if possible?
Sir, we are discussing about the description right in today's lab.
Yeah, description. Yes, we are talking about description. When you are recording the transactions, so if you want to capture anything as a part of description that you can maintain in the system with the concept called a chart of accounts. That's what we are discussing. Yes. What is your question?
We have a two kind of descriptions, right, sir, when we are recording the transaction. That is manually we write in a description, right? When we purchase something, we have some job, the description of the item. Here we are mentioning the department value, account value and all.
Here this description means not very detailed description. This is a common description which you can use in any application. Along with this description, if you are purchasing item, you can add that item. That item you don't need to include within the chart of accounts structure. Okay. So this is
that option will come in here. Yeah.
This is the common information which you can use in any applications. Along with these details, if you are working on the payables, the transactions belongs to which supplier and which item. Okay, if you are working on the receivables, who is the customer, those details also you can capture. Okay. But as a part of chart of accounts, you capture the description which is required as per your reporting requirements. So apart from that, every application has the capability of capturing many other details. Accordingly, you can create the reports. Yeah. Any other questions, please? Okay, seems to no questions. Okay, try to complete all these from your end so that you will find upcoming sessions very easy. Okay, so done for today. We'll connect on Monday. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.